joints in all the towns in all the world. She walks into mine.
Sing it, Sam.
You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. And when two lovers woo, they still say I love you. On that you can rely. No matter what the future brings as time goes by.
Sam, I thought I told you never to play.
Telling the truth can be bad news.
Telling the truth can be bad news. Telling the truth can be telling the truth can be good news.
Telling the truth is a bad idea.
Telling the truth is a difficult problem.
Telling the truth is a scary. Telling the truth is a scary predicament.
Telling the truth is a bitter herb.
Telling the truth is a dangerous tunnel.
When you get out of that tunnel, you've got
it's
bitter
a black
herb.
life ahead. Forget herb. I never heard of a hit that had the word herb in it.
Telling the truth is a dangerous.
Dangerous.
Telling the truth can be dangerous.
What? Danger. Telling the truth can be dangerous. Telling the truth can be dangerous
business.
Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Why? Why? Telling the truth can be dangerous business because if yourself, you don't know why.
Huh?
Well, I'm just giving you what the idea is. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. If you don't know yourself, then you don't know why.
Oh, is that brilliant?
Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Honest and popular don't go hand in hand. If you admit that you can play the accordion, no one will hire you in a rock and roll band. But we can't sing our hearts out. And if we're lucky, we'll no neighbors complain.
Welcome to Impact. I'm Barbara Bird, your host, and with me today is attorney Robert Leo. Robert is going to talk to us about economic conversion. Can you tell us just what? Hi, it's great to have you here.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. I appreciate the invitation.
I've heard you speak a little bit before about economic conversion, but I understand now that there's an initiative petition going for a law. And first of all, I think it would be good if you could just tell the viewers what's economic conversion and what's it all about.
Okay, I'll give it a try.
Okay.
I think perhaps the best way to explain what economic conversion is to first define the problem that it addresses. Well, I know you know, but unfortunately a lot of other people don't know that we've got a very critical problem, a very terrible problem in our state, in our nation, and that is our severe economic dependency on military spending and military production.
Right.
We just came off the longest in human and financial terms, the most devastating military competition the world has ever seen. It was a 45-year struggle for military superiority between the Soviet Union and the United States, which ended only a couple of years ago. And during that period of time, our nation alone spent over $7 trillion to win that struggle. To give you an idea of what $7 trillion is, it's the dollar value of all the man-made structures, buildings, bridges, etc., now standing on the United States. And since 1981, we've spent over $2 trillion. And although this is what had won the Cold War, it was an enormous sacrifice. And $1 trillion being the equivalent of winning $1 million a day for 11 months out of the year for 3,000 years. So we're talking about sums of money that are really incomprehensible to the average.
People can't think of $1 trillion in that.
No.
And the government does talk in trillions and billions and spends in billions and trillions, as you said, and what they're spending it on takes away from what we really need.
That's right, and this is exactly the point I was about to make. In order to do that, in order to allow us to win that struggle, we've virtually had to rob every social and domestic program we have on the federal level, from affordable housing, from health care, education, environmental protection, right down the line. And we've also had to borrow incomprehensible amounts of money during that time period, that is the last 10 years, when under Ronald Reagan and George Bush, we went from since 1981, we went from the largest creditor nation in the world, having a surplus of about $800 billion, to now the largest debtor nation in the world, and we're looking at a national debt close to $4 trillion right now.
So we really didn't become a debtor nation then until about 9 years,
absolutely.
10 years ago.
If you look at the charts, you could see that our precipitous rise in military spending parallels the rise in our national debt, our budget deficits, our national budget deficits, and our national trade deficits. It all started with the decision back in the early 80s to take our country's most precious human and financial resources and to invest it into massive military production. And although, as I said, we won that struggle, we did so at a very dear price. We're now, as I said, the largest debtor nation in the world. And because we have put so much emphasis into military production, we've virtually ignored the consumer side of our economy. And during that same period, we've lost lucrative consumer markets to the Japanese and to the Germans.
I think that's a real concern, is that as long as we maintain ourselves as being the provider of all the war materials and weapons in the world, then we're sort of locked into that. And our industrial, all our industries then that are into producing the weapons, people could say, well, we can't close those down. And,
well, that's really where economic conversion. That's right. That's where economic conversion comes in. We know we desperately need now to bring down our military budget, and we can do that. To help stimulate our economy, to address our national debt, for the peace dividend, which we found really is not a dividend, because we found that you really have to do some work for it. It's just not going to happen automatically. It's not unearned income. It really should be labeled a peace profit, I think, because we've got a lot of work to do to earn this money. Although we need to bring down our military spending, we can't. The process of taking the money out of the domestic budget and putting it into the military budget was a relatively easy one, because so many people were put on the payrolls. We now have, in the military production sector, we have 26 million workers nationwide in Massachusetts and across the country whose jobs are directly dependent on continued massive military spending. But now that we have to take the money out of the military budget and reinvest in our economy, in our infrastructure, and in the people of our country, our citizens, it's not such an easy task, because it's locked in there.
Right.
It's locked solid by the jobs of 26 million Americans, as I said, close to 200,000 in this state alone. We've got 2,500 companies in Massachusetts alone that are dependent on it. And economic conversion, as I see it, is the key, which will unlock virtually a national treasure that we are throwing away.
Well, it will also unlock the ability to have a peace, as long as you're producing for war all the time, and really, you're not really preparing for a peace, or you're not even giving a message around the world that peace is possible. So,
please welcome Rogers and Clark.
yeah!